I've been wondering, how much dock do you actually need? What if I told you that the biggest mistake waterfront property owners make isn't choosing the wrong dock, it's building too much dock? Every year, homeowners spend thousands of dollars on extra dock sections, larger platforms, and unnecessary accessories they rarely use. The result, higher cost, more maintenance, more permitting headaches, and often a dock that's less functional than a smaller, better designed layout. So how much dock do you actually need? Here's how to break down the simple framework professionals use to determine the right dock size based on how you actually use your waterfront. This is PJ, owner of Pennyvale Docks. So many property owners start by asking, what's the biggest dock I could build? The better question is, what's the smallest dock that accomplishes everything I want to do? Because every additional foot of dock increases. The goal isn't maximum size, the goal is maximum function, and that's where smart dock design begins. Bigger docks, you have more construction costs, more material costs, definitely more maintenance requirements. The permit process becomes more complex, and you could expect long-term repair expenses to be more. So here's a graph showing the costs increase as you go up in size. A well-designed dock that fits your needs will always outperform an oversized one. Bigger isn't always better, and after a certain point, you pay a lot more for only a little additional usable value. The first question to ask is, what will the dock actually be used for? Let's look at some common examples. A fishing dock. If your primary goal need, a simple walkway with a small platform often provides plenty of space. A swimming dock. If this is the priority, you want enough room for entering and exiting the water, seating, storage for water toys, family gatherings. It usually requires a larger platform area than a fishing dock. A boat dock and an entertainment dock could be about the same size. Entertainment dock. If you regularly host friends and family, you'll likely want a dedicated gathering space. The dock becomes an outdoor living area rather than simply a waterfront access point, and that's where platform sizing becomes critical. If you own a boat, dock dimensions become more dependent on the boat length, beam width, water depth, mooring requirements. Many owners underestimate the clearance needed for safe maneuvering. And this is a visual comparison of those three types of docks. And you always want to consider the water depth, shoreline conditions, and local regulations when planning your dock. Now notice these docks kind of look the same size, but they're not drawn to scale to each other. So let's compare three common layouts. The next slide after this information is also in a visual form. So small functional dock is good for fishing, kayaks, canoes, a simple waterfront design. It has a lower cost, easier to get permits for, and minimal maintenance, less parts. Mid-sized family dock is ideal for swimming, small boats, relaxation, occasional entertaining. It has greater flexibility, more usable space, and better long-term versatility. And the large recreational dock. It's ideal for multiple boats, frequent, entertaining, waterfront living. It has maximum functionality, multiple activity zones, and increased waterfront enjoyment. And here's a visual showing those things. Start here. What will you use your dock for most? And it lists the primary activities, and then it lists how many people and whether you need a boat access and how often you entertain. And you follow the colored lines and it point out to the dock that fits your needs. The key takeaway, most property owners fall somewhere in the middle category, not the smallest and definitely not the largest. Hidden sizing factors. Here's where many people get surprised. Dock size isn't determined solely by your activities. There are several site conditions that you need to consider. The water depth. Shallow water often requires a longer access walkways to get out to the deeper water. If you have extreme water level fluctuations, you may require different dock configurations. The shoreline slopes. Steeper shorelines can impact the dock placement and overall design. Higher energy shorelines with waves often require stronger and sometimes larger structures. And local regulations. Many agencies place limits on dock length, width, surface area, encroachment into waterways, which means your ideal dock size may not always be your permitted dock size. So here's another visual showing that. The right dock size comes from understanding your waterfront, not just your wish list. Smart dock planning. Before designing a dock, ask yourself these 5 questions. What activities will happen most often? How many people typically use the dock? Will boats be stored there? How much maintenance am I willing to perform? And what are the local permitting requirements? When you answer these questions honestly, the right dock size usually becomes obvious. Remember, the best dock isn't the biggest dock. It's the dock that perfectly supports how you use your waterfront. So permit limitations. This is just a general infogram that tells you what to consider, not what the rules are for your specific location. You need to check with your local ordinances before you start planning. Permits are required for most new docks and any modifications to existing docks. Violations may result in fines and removal of the structures, which can be an expensive mistake. And on this drawing, the labeled dimensions are not drawn to scale. They're just here to give you an approximation. So if you learned anything from this video, if you would please like, subscribe, and comment. I'd love to know what lake you live on. And we have free downloads of dock inspection checklists and blogs based on the videos available at our website.